My husband left me and our daughter $100 for 3 weeks while he went to Cabo with his friends for a vacation. He came back to find I'd sold his precious motorcycle collection. Kyle announced the trip 2 days before leaving. Just walked into the kitchen where I was feeding our 18-month-old Emma her dinner and said he and the guys were going to Mexico for 3 weeks. Bachelor party for his friend Damon, who'd been divorced twice already. Said it was all paid for, non-refundable. He had to go. I asked about money for groceries, Emma's diapers, the electricity bill due next week, my medication that insurance didn't fully cover. He pulled out his wallet, counted 5 20s, slapped them on the counter. This should be enough. You always figure it out. $100 for 3 weeks for me and a toddler. While he spent $4,000 on an all-inclusive resort with bottle service and deep-sea fishing. I'd been on unpaid maternity leave for 6 months because Emma had health issues requiring constant monitoring. Kyle said we couldn't afford daycare, that I should stay home, that his salary as a construction foreman was enough. It was, but only because he controlled every penny. I had to show receipts for groceries, justify every purchase, while he had separate accounts I couldn't access. The $100 lasted 4 days. Emma needed prescription formula for her allergies, $60, diapers, $25. That left $15 for 3 weeks of food. I called Kyle in Mexico, could hear music and women laughing in the background. He said I was being dramatic, to use the credit card for emergencies, the one he'd canceled 3 months ago without telling me, that I discovered was dead when I tried to buy Emma's antibiotics. I called his mother. She said boys needed their fun time, that I should have saved better. Called my sister in Phoenix. She could barely afford her own kids. Applied for emergency assistance, but we made too much on paper because of Kyle's income. Sold my engagement ring at a pawn shop for $200. Fed Emma while I ate peanut butter sandwiches twice a day. But here's what Kyle didn't know. His garage full of motorcycles, 5 vintage Harleys he'd been collecting for 10 years, weren't just sitting there. I'd been researching their value for months, ever since he'd bought the latest one instead of fixing our car's broken air conditioning. Turned out Kyle had been lying about their worth. He'd told me they were worth maybe $5,000 total. Needs lots of work, mostly sentimental value. But I found the auction sites, the registration papers, the insurance documents hidden in his toolbox. The 1958 Panhead alone was worth $30,000. The collection totaled about $90,000. I called his friend Tommy, who ran a motorcycle shop, told him Kyle had asked me to handle selling the bikes while he was gone, that we needed the money for Emma's medical bills. Tommy knew about Emma's health issues, didn't question it. Posted them online with Tommy's help, priced to sell fast. The Panhead went in 6 hours to a collector from Nevada. The Softdale Heritage sold the next morning. By day 10, all 5 bikes were gone. $82,000 deposited into my new personal account at a different bank. I paid off Emma's medical debt, caught up on bills, bought real groceries, got my car fixed, set aside 6 months of expenses, and hired a divorce lawyer with the retainer Kyle had been saving for a new bike. Then I waited. He came home tanned and hungover, talking about the amazing time, the yacht parties, how Damon had met a 22-year-old who might be wife number 3. Walked straight to the garage to check on his bikes. The scream could be heard 3 houses away. He burst into the house demanding to know where his motorcycles were. I was feeding Emma sweet potatoes. Stayed completely calm. I sold them to feed our daughter while you were in Cabo. He called the police. They arrived, looked at the receipts showing Kyle was listed as seller on all documents. That money went to childcare expenses, and told him it was a civil matter. He called Tommy, who confirmed I'd said Kyle authorized the sales. Kyle threatened divorce. I handed him the papers my lawyer had already drawn up. He said I'd get nothing, that he'd take Emma, that I destroyed his life. That's when I showed him the forensic accountant's report, the one detailing the 3 other bank accounts he'd hidden, the $40,000 in cash he'd been skimming from construction sites, the affair with his coworker Nancy, that he'd been funding with our joint savings. All documented, all admissible. He tried to grab the papers, but I'd already filed copies with the court. The divorce was finalized last month. I got primary custody, a house, and appropriate support. Kyle lives in a studio apartment, drives a 10-year-old truck, and tells everyone I'm a gold digger who stole his life's passion.